taking the 10th grade Native American Law and Supreme Court lessons and putting them into a Canvas module. So I went through all of the resources here in the original lesson. We are going to be focusing on number 4, 5, and 12, and actually used Canvas outlooks to build out a rubric, and basically just took all of the important information from this lesson plan and put it in an easy to use course module for you. So you do have, as I go through all of this, I just want to make sure I reference that you do have a teacher overview page. This first paragraph is just straight from the lesson plan itself that I just showed you. I gave you a few notes on what is going to happen in this unit. So basically, students will do a KWL, which is again straight from the ODE lesson, in their journal. Then they will do a close reading activity. We're using the student annotation feature on Canvas for this, which allows for you to not have to print any paper, quick, easy grading with the Canvas Speed Grader, and it allows students to use that Chromebook stylus that maybe they don't get to use that often. I do include a video on how to use that tool if the students have never used it before, just to refresh on how to use all of the features, but it should be super easy for everyone involved, and that's why we're kind of focusing on using that. And they will do basically a digital jigsaw with some Supreme Court decisions after they do a little close reading. We're going to scaffold and build some information in about Supreme Court, how it functions, how it makes decisions, and how to read a decision and understand what they're talking about. With some of the text headers, I use some of the emojis that fit with the Discovery Ed tech book. So in case you're wondering why are these emojis here, that's why. The essential question just again comes straight from ODE. And like I said, we're focusing on target 4, 5, and 12. And those are built into a rubric at the end of the unit. If you don't like any of the icons and graphics that I'm using, you have access right here to open up a slide deck and create your own or change the wording if you want to. They're just screenshots of the words that I type out in the slide deck. You do have teacher support slides. And my thought process on this is that you have 4 days worth of lessons. I think lesson 1 and lesson 2 potentially could be done in one 90-minute session. It's just up to you on how fast you go. Pay attention to within this teacher slide decks, I've given you notes, things to say that, again, were taken from the ODE lesson plan. You can play the video straight from the slide deck since it is a crash course video on YouTube, or you can click out and open to a full screen mode. Again, just gave you some instructions on how to fill out the KWL with students if you want to. You can also click in here and type out and work on adding things that are original to what the kids are saying, if that helps for you. Again, notes to teachers down at the bottom. Again, the close reading activity, this is again the document coming straight from ODE, and the video on how to use student annotation features within Canvas. It's I don't even know, like a minute. It's not very long. They're doing some close reading. You can choose to use this. You can change it if you want to, but it's basically just quick close reading annotation pieces, or kids can just annotate as they want to. I mean, they're 10th graders. They should know how to do it, right? They are going to be looking at the following cases based on this information. I took these PDFs, and to try and make it as easy as possible, we went through a couple of different iterations on how to build this out in the module itself. But basically what I did was I created or took all of these downloads, all these PDFs. Originally, I had them as one individual link or assignment, but if you're having, 2 different desks or table groups work on, the Johnson versus McIntosh case. And so in the end, you only have like 4 or 8 students turn in for that one assignment, then that could be a lot of work on your end to try and go in and mark them as complete or incomplete or grade them appropriately. So what we ended up doing was I recreated the document and added all of the court cases that were specific to Native Americans in the unit based on their PowerPoint that they had, and added them into one cohesive document. So these are all hyperlinked. Students can just click on this button and it will take them to their specific assigned Supreme Court decision. And there's the hyperlinks still work in the PDF. So if I open up the PDF, you'll see what I mean. And they, again, will have access to this inside Canvas and use the student annotation feature. So they'll just go to their document and read through their case and annotate over the top of it. That some are only 1 page, and then some decisions are 2 pages. So I didn't want a student, for instance, to forget that there's a whole nother page to the Cherokee Nation versus Georgia. So I tried to point that out on the table of contents page, that most of them are 2 pages, but just make sure you tell students that they need to pay attention to that. Okay, so as you go into and look at the module, a lot of the same content that is in your teacher slide deck can also be found within the Canvas course, just so that if a student isn't there that day, they can still follow along just straight through Canvas. This is a student-facing overview. It shows the essential questions, the learning targets, how to be successful, and what they actually have to turn in. And then like I said, all of the videos and everything that they might actually need is listed in here as well. When they do the student annotation feature, it will show up down below. And then the last big piece is the digital jigsaw. So I have this marked out for you in your teaching slide deck, but they'll do one initial post where they'll answer this question. Hopefully you give them some time maybe to work with their partner to develop that summary together. Then after they post that, they need to go back and read what their peers do. So it's kind of important, I think, in this this part of it, that it's pretty paced, because they can't see each other's posts until everybody posts. So in your teaching slide deck, if I go down to that area, you'll notice that I have like a timer. If the 10-minute timer doesn't work for you, if they need more time, you can add a different timer. But I did put that in there just so that you're aware and they're aware, okay, after the 10 minutes, we're going to go in and read each other's posts. Again, the idea there is that they actually read and understand 3 of the cases instead of just 1. And then they will come back and post a reflection on if anything changed their mind, and also, what more they've learned about U.S. government policy regarding Native Americans. Again, that is a phrase that comes straight from the ODE lesson plan. So they will turn that in. And like I said, there is a rubric that is attached to this discussion thread. So instead of skill-based, it's the content, right? So the points are turned off, but from your perspective as a teacher, you just have to go, okay, they got a 4 here, a 3 here, a 4. You just touch on your computer, boom, 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 they're done. And then you get that feedback for this as a summative assessment if you want to use it that way. So that is everything that is included in this short little module. Again, I think it'll take anywhere from 3 to 4 days, just depends on how quickly you can get through this content with the students, and really looking forward to your feedback on if this worked for you. Thanks.